Thank you so much for joining me. I know this is the graveyard session after lunch. I hope you all had some coffee. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Julia Freybote. I'm a faculty member in the School of Business at PSU, and I'm here representing the School of Business and the Tulane School of Planning and Studies, or Studies and Planning. And we would like to initiate a discussion of what does it take to actually grow the next generation of affordable housing professionals? We hear a big need from the industry for talent. And so we want to just pick your brains and find out what are barriers, what are opportunities to actually get you the talent that you're looking for, or actually get you the skills that you are looking for once you're in your position. And so this is going to be an interactive session with you for the next 30 minutes. And I was planning on using Kahoot, and then Kahoot didn't want my money and didn't allow me to renew my subscription. So I went for the free alternative, Pull Everywhere. And what I prepared is a bunch of questions to guide us through the next hour. And for you to participate in that discussion and get us started, please open your browsers and enter pollev.com, and even y'all at home, if anybody is joining us live at home, enter pollev.com/Julia Freybote 625. And that will prompt you to enter a name. And you can put anything here from your real name to spaghetti to, how you feel today. So it will show up on the screen, but you do not have to use your real name. And that, and I hope the tech works. So. I think we can go to the survey. Okay. And so this now can you hit present, please, on the top right? It should be activated. There you go. So this is the first question, just to get us started. And again, after lunch, yes. Oh, of course. Sorry, oh, it's very small. So it's pollev.com/Julia Freybote 625. Sorry for the hectic name. And so just to get us started is, fall is here. How do you feel about it? Finally, I'm a summer. I'm a different. Well, we got fall. So please select your answer. So I think everybody responded, and I feel y'all. Yay, fall. So. And then, so that was the first warm-up question, and then we can move on to the next question. Again, just another warm-up question, just to make sure everybody is ready to go. So which of the superpowers would you pick? Talk to animals, read minds, fly, invisible whenever you want. Oh, wow. Okay. Be able to fly, popular. So 52%. I think we're ready to actually dive into the questions that I prepared. And what I want to do is actually pull the room and then dive into some of those answers that you provided a little more deeply, to have a discussion on maybe, some more detailed aspects of the answers that you provided. So let's move on to the next question. And this is just to get a little bit of a read of the room of your backgrounds. And I want to know, which part of the affordable housing industry do you represent? Development, finance, property asset management, policy, or other? Oh, wow. Developers dominating the room. Those of you responding other, what fields are you in? Case management, so social work? Fantastic. Others? Technical assistance? Great. Oh, wonderful. Architecture?
I'm a house navigator.
Okay, advocacy, very important field, fantastic. And policy, those of you in policy, what is your affiliation? Who are you working with? Or maybe it's at home. All righty. Well, I'll move on. So a development definitely of the 4 distinct areas that I outlined is mostly represented in the room. Those of you on the finance side, are you in underwriting? What field are you in on the finance side? Oh my God, there you go. Okay. I was confused by that little bar, which means nothing. Okay, apparently 0, nothing. Okay. Okay, let's move on to the next question. And the next question is, what is your highest educational level? And here we have 40% each, undergraduate college degree and master degree. With regards to your undergraduate degrees, what are some of your backgrounds with regards to your previous education? Guidance. Psychology, sociology. You did it like we. Fantastic. And then master's degrees, what are your master's degrees in? I know we have some of our graduates from the real estate program at PSU here, which is a joint program between the planning school and the business school. But what are the other master's programs that you hold in the room? Oh, wow. Okay, fantastic. What other master's degrees? Counseling guidance? Oh, fantastic. Great program. MBA, business, okay. Very diverse. Okay, fantastic. And then the last question with regards to demographics, just to get a little bit of insights in the room, is, let's switch to the next question. How long have you been in the industry? Right, so the majority of folks responding have been in the industry for up to 5 years. And that's actually quite interesting because, like, I don't know about y'all, but like I've been to panels in the past about career development in affordable housing and commercial real estate, and often you have senior executives on stage. And often when they joined the industry, conditions were very different, their perspectives are not necessarily the same as if you're entry level. And so it's fantastic to have a lot of early career folks in the room. So I really appreciate that. So let's move on to questions that dive a little bit deeper into, well, what are actually the issues with regards to talent in the industry? And the first question here that I want to start out with is, next question, please. How would you characterize the demand for talent in your affordable housing field? So here 50% say hi. The ones of you that said hi, what are your backgrounds? Is that development? Is that policy development? The ones that answered moderate, are you also in development or are your backgrounds different? Okay, so what is that? 65% say hi to. So, yeah.
Development. I think a lot of us work at a nonprofit that do a lot of different things. So the demand for talent is high kind of across the board. But do you mean like when you say development, like work at an agency that develops properties, or just specifically your development?
Very good question. And I apologize, I didn't differentiate there and just lumped it all into one. Because you're right, there is a difference between working for a large scale developer like Hacienda CDC, for example, or working for Central City Concern, or working for a smaller nonprofit. So that's a good question. For those of you that are in development and responded hi, are you on the nonprofit side? Are you is that your background? So nonprofits. Any of you on the for-profit side or on the larger scale development side, large organizations. So it seems to be the skill shortage is particularly severe for profits. Sorry, so for nonprofits, right? Okay, let's move on to the next one. And this is a question where you can answer, basically using commas, you can answer short answers. What are 3 technical skills that you consider most important for your field? So if you do think it's, and especially skills, not just right now, but looking forward. So if you are looking for somebody to hire, what are you looking for? Okay, so we have excel in finance, interpersonal skills, engineering. Building performer, communication technology, project management showing up the second time, financial management, asset management, project management, AI, interesting. I'll come back to that. Unless it meant all, but I think it means AI. I'll come back to whoever responded to that. For property management, research technology, empathy, asset management. Finance, community engagement, asset management. We have some themes. Finance, relationship management, finance, especially affordable housing, light tech, finance, project management, cultural responsiveness, capital stack, grant writing, asset management, mediation, community engagement, budgeting, accounting. All right, it looks like we have a theme. So there are definitely, in terms of technical skills, the ones that I would say popped up the most were finance skills, asset management, property management, and project management. Now diving into the finance skills, what would you say, and a couple of pointers came up, what would you say within those finance skills are the most important for your organization and with regards to the talent that you're looking for? Budgeting. So budgeting for the next year. Do you mean like just basic finance understanding in addition to understanding capital stacks for affordable housing? Yes, so finance all around. So development strategy, how do you grow the organization, especially with regards to funding, with regards to that's a good point, Liz. What do you currently, with regards to those, because I was wondering, listening to the lunch panel, what do you usually access at the moment to find out about those opportunities? Is there like a central database? Because especially somebody bringing up AI, that gave me an idea. Not that I have the skills for it, but I can find the people that have the skills for it. So do you have like a central database that somebody could access in order to find out different types of funding opportunities? Or is it really having people that know? Okay, so there's actually a big need bringing all that information together, the research. So it's not just the finance itself, but also actually understanding where the funding comes from. I have a PhD in finance, affordable housing, capital stacks, and performers scare me. Just to give you an idea of like, I deeply respect what you do. When you say financing skills, I exactly know what you mean.
Where we need to know exactly how we're supposed to look, where we're supposed to have a place slated within our own finances, and that's not always known and done.
So that would be along the lines of nonprofit accounting, compliance. How does impact measurement and the ability to measure the impact that your organizations have on the communities that you serve, is that a skill as well that is something that has evolved in your field or is important in your field? Is that something? So that would be skill. There was a comment in the back. Can you all hear each other good? Well, otherwise I'll pass the mic around. Okay. Yeah, so it sounds like that's a skill that in addition to accounting and the finance part has been increasing in importance. Coming to project management, with regards to project management, what skills are you looking for with regards to the talent that you're trying to hire, the talent that you have in your organization but maybe want to develop further? What part in particular with regards to project management are you looking for?
I'm looking for the person who has the ability, the smartest person in the room, but not the expert. Because often in project management, you are not the expert. Engineers and pay a lot of people a lot of money, but you have to be helpful. Think within our rabbit hole of learning backwards or
There was another comment, I think. And with regards to financial skills and project management, which of the two do you find more difficult to find in candidates? Finance? That makes a lot of sense. And basically being able to talk different languages with the lender, with the architect, with the contractor. So just having expertise in everything, but not being specialists in all those different fields. Yes. Oh, communication. Yeah. Good point. Coming back. Yes. I understand what you mean. So that's definitely that's true. It's a valuable skill.
That's so important. And then not only that, but tell me how the heck you get it. I mean, that's, really a critical role for us, and then achieving that with our pipeline and what that looks like for the future of our portfolio. So it's a huge piece that we have, but that financial piece is really more of a challenge for us to fill that role. I feel like that's a big meat in the chunk that we still need to get through the financial management within the project and the construction.
Great. Yeah, that's definitely very insightful. I appreciate that. Yes.
For me, it's at the basic project management.
Yeah.
A lot of that curiosity, right? That natural, that curiosity, that ability to use when you're not an expert. That's very difficult to teach on the job. Whereas someone, basic understanding of that might be difficult to do.
But I think that still on your point, that project manager probably requires more soft skills and then
That's a good point. Another area that also got a lot of answers was property management and asset management. What skills are you looking for in this field in particular, or what are you looking for with regards to candidates that you want to have your organization join? Nice. So bring it back to the flexibility that you were talking about and like being able to adapt to different situations. Other comments on property management and asset management? And just out of interest, because it's one of my areas of interest, who said AI? Maybe it's online. Maybe it is. Oh my, there you go. There you go. It's like trying to find itself a place and like, well, if anybody at home had said AI, shoot me an email. I want to know, because it obviously is a big, and there may be room for, I don't know to what extent there's room for AI in compliance, and it is a skill that can help with some of those aspects. I don't know. I'm not as familiar with that aspect. But wonderful. So that was technical skills. And the next question I want to ask you, and some of you have answered that already, so I apologize for abbreviation. What are soft skills? So next question, please. What are soft skills that you think are relevant in your field now or in the future, or in the future? So some of you mentioned communication before, relationship building. I'll count that as a technical skill, but yeah, so soft skills, anything, people, communication, storytelling, those type of skills. And actually, I love that you bring that up. Social media skills, listening, transparency. Yesterday, I had my first class. We just started a new quarter. Yesterday, I had my first class of my real estate finance course. There were 28 students in the class. About 50% want to go into affordable housing. They're excited to join the industry, and they come from different backgrounds, MERPs, MBA, real estate master students, but they really want to get into the industry and really leave a mark. And like, that makes me so happy. And this is where I'm trying to find out how can we connect organizations such as yours with these students, because there's so much interest out there. So communication, relationship building, collaboration, compassion, mediation, storytelling, seeing the big picture. Being an asshole. That's good in general. I agree. Ability to work with a diverse group of folks. Absolutely. Adaptability, culturally responsive. With regards to technical skills that we discussed before and soft skills, which of the two do you feel candidates are better prepared for with regards to your organizations, with regards to the jobs that you're trying to fill? technical skills, soft skills?
Is that, people come in and include a lot of information, but I work in a really unique field, and so we're always on the teach really. So it's easy to bring people up, but it's easy to bring up a lot of about.
There was a comment somewhere in the back.
Selling it, and another college really focused on the technical aspect. So it's difficult for you what education is on.
That's a good point, and probably also your undergrad degree as well, or potentially the degree that you pursued, because some of them focus more on, let's say, finance skills, and other ones more on social skills. Absolutely, it's a good point.
And this is what my staff folks describe herself as. Real nerdy. I mean, do they like to get in? Myself, yeah, I'll go ahead and take 50,000 page long manual and read that for fun. I have no interest, thank you. So it's really technical. That's what I like about, some of the roles. It's just a different mind and brain that works, and it's just an innate skill. So, and that's
That's a good point, and I can point at least 10 of my graduates that are like that as well. And you can, if you want to have a nerdy affordable housing finance discussion, there are a bunch of folks, and asset management are looking at you, a bunch of folks I can connect you with. Have you noticed any difference between different generations? Right now in college, I see Gen Zers, which think a little bit different, work a little bit different, have a different requirement from the workplace environments that they work in. Have you seen a difference between, let's say, millennials, Gen Zers, other generations, and how does that affect, social skill, soft skills, and being able to bring talent into your organizations? What were your experiences with different generations or challenges that you may have faced?
your phone call, but they won't take your, deal with the text message. So I think you really have to understand the Gen Zer who is always going to be on track.
So communication, absolutely, communication styles. Other insights into different generational issues? I saw some nodding heads. What were some of the challenges that you ran in, or some of the ways in which your organization onboarded?
They have a family, and I think the younger they want time. They value their personal private.
Work-life balance, I agree.
Younger colleagues were interested in the organization that personal stuff. Our older colleagues were felt like why would we do that? So just a different idea about what they wanted.
That's an interesting point. And together with work-life balance, is that something when you're going out there and recruit that you emphasize when you talk to a candidate and when you post jobs? I know Hacienda CDC just introduced the, very jealous, 4-workday week. They just, I don't know if you knew, very excited. 2 of my students recently started there, so that's how I know. So is that something that you use as a recruitment tool as well? Yes. Hmm. Hmm. I agree. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. 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 That's a good point. And that actually, let me move on to my next question. That actually brings up my next question. What do you think are barriers to entry into the affordable housing industry? So why is that lack of talent? And what could be some of the barriers that are keeping people out? And you just brought up something that is very relevant: pay scale, pay, inflation. This is, by the way, one of those cool word clouds where based on how frequently something was mentioned, it gets bigger. Oh, interesting. Excuse me. You may not be able to read it from the back of the room, so I'll read out what came up. You can? You have a better eye classes than me. All right. Okay, it's not moving anymore. So the big ones, the bigger they are, the more folks answered these particular entries. So the biggest one is pay, and I guess because it's close to lack of pay, together with experience. So which is something that was just brought up. And then the second big one is experience. Those of you that responded experience, what do you mean with that? So in a way, you need experience to get started in the affordable housing industry. Do you mean that's the barrier that, like, let's say job ads are requiring a certain level of experience that is not necessarily reasonable? So it may actually, the job ad may scare people away. Okay, interesting point. Liz, I'll come back to you in a sec. Liz, you had a... Hmm. Hmm. That part.
very hard than you feel about it. So it's like it all goes together. But yeah, the one of the hard things about being and leadership development is that oftentimes you don't have the money to pay for the role until you've already gotten the funding. By the time you get the funding, you're already underwater. And so there's this is in terms of the underwater working, right? So you're already everyone's overworked already, and really the time feels like they have time. And it's a vicious cycle that also is part of the really great things with development and because we're always trying to help.
I'll start with the lady in the green jacket. It's beautiful green. The scale and companies, I think we rely on really services for our help to do that much more. But there's that. Thank you so much, and I'll pass it on to you. Yeah. I agree. I'll come back to you. And so we have to just look at everybody's lunch. And then they get in with our organizations, and then, they may not have all the services, but we do have to provide that training, but then we're short on the funding to deal with it, especially in rural organizations, to get them ready to go for the training. And then they're still in a disconnect, even if it's somewhere there's even more disconnect, right? And so if they don't have that instant certification, they're kind of like that, they're looking good, and then they're feeling like they're failing. And so it's been tight to try and make sure that the communication is there, the training is there, the resources are there, they're connecting. And sometimes it's a real challenge to do, especially with regions that are so far disconnected. So, and that's just a piece of that component that we're trying to navigate through. Great. Thank you so much. I just want to something. I graduated college 9 years ago. This is my first job out of college, right? And I feel like one of the hardest things, like I found an entry-level job. It was hard to find it for a long time, but I found one, right? But I want to get into like project management or development eventually, but it feels almost impossible to like leverage the entry-level case management job that I have now and like learn the skills that I need in that position to leverage it for something bigger. And I can't figure out how to connect like A to B without going back to school. And that's fine, but I don't plan on going back to school for a few years. So in the meantime, I just feel stuck. So it seems like there is some need even within organizations and within the industry to actually have, not necessarily related to education alone, university education, to have paths and help folks advance in their career and help them maybe in mentorship program or like help folks take the next step. Is there anything like that? Question, by the way, a mentorship program for affordable housing professionals? No? Okay. No. But there's nothing like, so the Commercial Real Estate Women's Organization, they have a mentorship program that goes an entire year. And so there's nothing. Okay, we have an idea that we can implement. There was a comment in the back. Mm. 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 Yeah, and maybe, yeah, relationship, yeah. And maybe for people that are not as experienced with this or don't feel as comfortable, maybe that's where mentorship program could help. And hey, I want to advance my career. This is where I'm coming from. What would you recommend with regards to networking? Because like that sounds like you would be a valuable resource for a junior employee to see how you did. Yeah. 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 Great. Yeah. Mm. Mm. I'll have one comment in the back and then I'll come back to you. Mm. 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 Thank you so much.
And then I wanted to say, I know all my time, I'll probably talk about a lot today about burnout and things like that happen. Another side product that I see is that sometimes I see that almost like a silent agreement, like, okay, well, we're going to lower the expectations. We're not trying to press it hard. And then that kind of feeds to the culture of kind of like undisclosed agreements. Exactly. We're paying you the minimum. We're understanding and things on the line. And then people who are bought in, they're end up carrying even more work. And then that's the executive burnout. So then you have this internal culture of people who have been there for a long time who are have to come to agreements that they want to do.
Yeah. Mm. Mm. Good point.
Young millennials are really committed to this. They want their lives to make a difference, more so than any other generation. So that buy-in, to me, it was the younger staff, it's just there.
Mm.
You know, it and the struggle with the work from home, the remote work, whatever, that's all to me kind of, you know, less important than people are really bought in. They are bought in to the point where they are willing to take what they know is a lower paying job because it's a big deal. And that doesn't mean that we should just continue to pay people less to have it, right?
Yeah.
But that's it. I mean, I think that's what's so important to me about getting these folks to the affordable housing system is that this generation is really, like, they are not the really good generation. They are really committed to the mission that they really want to feel important and feel their work. And not having enough opportunity for people to enter the industry and cross-train or to only people to develop that require experience really lost out, but I think it's an amazing resource for our industry. And 10 years we're talking about superintendents who are retiring who are older who have this knowledge and experience. And I think those things are really development that we're going to lose a lot of knowledge if we're not holding that bench now with these really committed young people. They're going to go do something else.
Yeah, that's very true. And actually, I'll lead direct into the next question. Before that, though, I want to emphasize that patriarchy, white racism, and where else did I see that? Supremacy came up. So I'll come back to that in a question or so, because I thought that was very interesting that those came up. But let's move on to the next question. And this is a question of, give an example of how the entry into the industry could be made easier for college grads. Just to give you some background, at PSU, we have, for example, in the business school, an undergraduate property management program. And the majority of our students in the business school identify as non-white. So we have an amazing opportunity of getting students that are really excited about giving back to their communities, that often speak multiple languages, that have multiple experiences. The opportunity to actually start a career in a field that they may become really passionate about. And at the graduate level, we're the only school in the country that has a master in real estate and brings together the business school and the planning school to actually train folks in affordable housing. So from our side, we want to know how can we work with organizations such as yours to actually improve that pipeline and get those students to your organizations, because we have amazing students. And if you ever want to meet anybody, let me know. I'll introduce you. But so what do you think are really great ways of helping folks get that foot in the door, especially undergraduate, graduate coming out of college? Internships, mentorship, training. By the way, you're all not the only ones. Appraisers have the same issue. They have a desperate need for talent, but appraisers don't have time to train new appraiser talent. And so they have the same issue, interestingly. Partnerships, okay, paying students. Yeah, OHSC performers, I'll come back to that. So it looks like mentorships, internships, connecting with students that way, something that has predominantly come up. How many of you offer internships? Fantastic. Send me an email. I have interns for you. But what if you're not currently offering internships, what could be a big problem for you right now, like implementing an internship program? Good question, because there may be an opportunity to do it in other areas. I was just talking to she's actually doing social work downstairs at registration. She's a social work student at PSU. She's currently working with rural communities. She's interested in doing a social work housing internship. So there may even be students in rural communities and partnership organizations with PSU, community colleges that may be interested in scholarship, in internships. But in terms of our program, it's the Portland metro area. Yeah. Yeah. And that probably, especially also when you extend it to development, construction, the trades, that's definitely an advantage there. So those are organizations that currently don't offer internships. Is it the supervision, the training, the lack of funding, all of the above? But if you could, you would want interns. So maybe there are some industry sources. So okay, yes, that's fantastic. So yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that would be a challenge. That is for sure. That's why it's easier here in town. Now, a lot of our students do live further out. So, for example, if you have something, Gresham, Clackamas, or like Hillsborough, like a lot of our students do not live in Portland proper because they get priced out themselves. And so there may be opportunities for some communities outside of Portland proper area. But I agree with you, that would be a challenge, especially if you have a summer internship in a rural area. Let me move on to the next question. And this one is focused on what we touched on before, diversity. So how would you consider diversity in your field of affordable housing? And this is diversity in any aspect. So any dimension of, all right, 80%, that's not changing much. Okay, so 64%, 60+% say there's lacking diversity in your field, and then followed by moderate. So let me actually move on to the next question to dig a little bit deeper into this issue. And I think this brings it back to the barriers that we talked about. So next question, please. Give an example of how a more diverse candidate could be attracted to the industry. So why, or firstly, let me actually, I'll come back to that. Pay more. Oh, wow, it's a pay issue. Wow. Okay, representation by leadership. Leadership itself, the boards, the orgs are not very diverse. Biases, benefits, education opportunities, wages again, pay. Workplace culture, sense of belonging. Flexibility. Whatever I answered flexibility, is that with regards to working parents? Did any of you answer? Maybe it's from home. Remote work training. Equitable policies. So is it that with regards to your organizations, at least with regards to pay, you see that market rate organizations or for-profit organizations are able to, and they get the diverse candidates that you're not be able to compete with or for? Is that okay? Okay, the benefits. Hmm. Hmm. That's a good point. So that's the pay benefits part. But another thing that came up was workplace culture, supremacy, patriarchy. So with regards to that, firstly, those of you that answered, brought that up. What do you think are strategies to be more inclusive and to attract, let's say more working moms, more non-white employees? Like, what do you think can be done to particularly target, for example, PSU students that are non-white, that want to give back to the communities that are interested in that, but may walk into a room and feel uncomfortable because they're the only ones that look like them? So what do you think could be strategies that the organizations or the industry can develop to improve the diversity? That's a valid point. I get that a lot with my students as well. Like the other day, one of my students that is really, really interested in affordable housing, he saw an ad and he's like, oh, I don't have all of that. And I'm like, still apply. You never know, apply. But he was like, no, that's not me. Like, they want all these things. That's not me. So bringing it back to the expectations in posts that may be intimidating to folks. So yeah, absolutely. Hmm. Hmm. I will continue to the left and I'll come back to you. Thank you. Hmm. Hmm. Absolutely. Hmm. And yeah, and this, I think this is where what we touched on earlier, mentorship is important as well. And maybe even, so for example, with regards to our programs, if you're ever interested being a guest speaker or being on a panel and be in front of our students, because representation is so important. And I want students to see themselves in the people representing the affordable housing industry or whatever lending. So if you're ever interested in doing a panel, for example, for our undergraduate students or our master students, shoot me an email. I think that would be something as well. I think that will give students more confidence. Hey, this is, I feel represented in an industry. I feel like there's a place for me. But yeah, and let me know what we can help as well, giving you access to the talent that you're looking for your organizations, regards to improving the diversity of your organizations. Let me move on to the next question. I want to be respectful of y'all's time. And this is, so with regards to your own education, what topic would be a topic that you would like to educate yourself on and maybe, take on, go back to school for, or like do some sort of additional training. Law, grant writing, mental health, finance and budgets, asset management. I'm just reading it out because it may be really difficult to read in the back. Finance again, social justice, business and grant writing, finance and development, grant writing, we have a theme, and fundraising, finance, grants finance, learn more languages. Oh, I love that. Any of you in the room say that? That's great, love it. Mental health, mental health. When you, for those of you responding mental health, do you mean understanding mental health issues or your own mental health or? Yes, all of them, all of the above. Okay, good answer.
But I said,
Did you say mental health? No, sorry. Sorry. It's like with improv, like when you sit in the first row and you move, you may become a target. So improv theater. Oh, law again. Okay. Organizational leadership. Those of you that responded law, what in particular are you looking for with regards to legal aspects? Any in the room responded law? Hmm. And actually, it's interesting that you mentioned that. So as I mentioned before, we have a lot of graduates that went into affordable housing from our master's program. And that is actually something that came up in some of the discussions with them, like just the contracts that you have to sign in affordable housing, like understanding the contracts, that in itself is often a skill that you may not have or may not feel as comfortable with. So okay, that makes sense. And then with regards to those of you that responded and said finance, does that relate to pro forma? Does that refer to tax credits, to LIHTC, to different, all of the above? Okay, okay. All right. Then let's move on to the next question, please. Now, with regards to getting that additional knowledge, what would you prefer? Doing a master's degree, doing a short program, like maybe, a few weeks of a certificate, or just a single course, for example, on contracts? Oh, wow, that's a clear one. So 80% of y'all would feel comfortable doing a short course, like, short program, maybe a couple of weeks. What would be the sweet spot for you in terms of, if you think about your workload, your other obligations, like a short program for like few weeks, 8 weeks? That's like a quarter. Has any of you done one of those short programs? Are there any currently offered that you may have taken before? Because that's something that I'm finding there's not a lot of offerings with regards to education when it comes to affordable housing. Liz? Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. And I'm asking this question because my colleagues in the planning school, they're actually interested in providing more offerings to the affordable housing industry. And they're wondering what is actually the format that the affordable housing industry is interested in. And this is clear, y'all are not really interested in a master's program necessarily, but more like a targeted short-term program that can get you the knowledge that you want, you move on. You have the knowledge, the credential may not be as important. And I mean, as we've seen, a lot of you already hold a master's degree. So this is very valuable information. I will pass it on to them. And with the topics, I also have an idea of what you're looking for. That reminds me to ask another question. So with regards to going back to school and taking, for example, a short program, which modality would you prefer? Fully online, having some hybrid in-person feature? Like, want the networking component of a program like that, or would you be fine just an online course, downloading the knowledge? Just said hybrid. Yeah, because that's what I see, and that may be something as well, coming back to the mentorship, community building aspect that we talked about, that may actually be something that comes along with a program like that. Good point. There was a comment.
But it would be great. That would be great, but if you're trying to
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And one topic that I know has come up a couple of times whenever I talk to affordable housing folks is just one course, for example, on how do you fill out the OHCS performers? Is that something like, it seems like that could fill a course or a couple of sections. Yeah. Mm. Mm. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Also, statistics classes seem to be really good to meet people. I met my partner in a statistics class. So you never know, apparently statistics classes, that's where it's at. So I think I have one more question and then I'll let y'all go. So next question, please. I think I have one more. What's the biggest barrier for you to pursue additional, I have two more questions, additional education? For example, a short program such as the one that we were just talking about. Time. I suspected that, but I just wanted to get. And then you have a life outside of work. Okay, time is still winning. I think that's not changing much. Okay, so time and money, which brings me to my last question now. And that is, how would you describe the availability for funding with regards to additional education? So do you have funding in your organization, industry funding, no funding? So 56% have some organizational funding available. Those of you that responded, what type of organization are you working for? Nonprofits? Oh, so you have actually educational benefits in your nonprofits? Oh, fantastic. Okay, so there are some fundings available. Okay, so you basically get grants for your employees to get that additional education. And then number two, 38% is no funding available. So basically the industry funding are the grants that you apply for your organization. Okay. The grants? Yeah. I love that you bring that up. I am so happy you're mentioning that because I want to encourage you to get in touch with me. So my email address is Freybote, my last name @pdx.edu. And we actually have a center for real estate that works with organizations and employers and sets up internship programs. So we have set up internship programs with property management companies, with a couple of other organizations, but we want to set up more internship programs with the affordable housing industry. And Julie Gibson, if you've ever met her, she actually has an affordable housing background too. She started this summer an affordable housing job shadowing program for our students. students, where for a couple of weeks, she took them to a couple of affordable housing organizations and like expose them to what those different organizations do. So we want to do more of that. We want to give our students more access to internships that you offer. We want to be the source for you to get interns. So I absolutely agree with you. This is something where we as Portland State can definitely help the industry and definitely help your organizations. So please send me any internship opportunities that you have, and I'll share that with our undergraduate students, our graduate students. And I will include the planning school, the business school, and I can also talk to the social works and other schools. Yes. No, it's a very important suggestion, because even market rate and organizations are like, okay, we want interns. How do we do that? How do we set up a program? So if you have questions about that, please also send me an email. Julie Gibson has worked with organizations before on setting that up, and we can work with you. So by all means, I absolutely appreciate all your insights, all your feedback. And I think we do have an opportunity here to get you more talent, work together, and also diversify the industry and leave a mark on the industry. So I really appreciate all your insights. Again, send me an email if you have any comments, any internship opportunities, anything that you want to talk about. I'm also always available to meet for coffee. And thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you. I'm glad the tech worked.